I'm Gaurav Gupta. I am the founder of the company called Grid Design Studio and Squareboat. Grid Design Studio is basically a design firm which is established for UI UX, branding, and creative work in the country. And Squareboat considered to be like a prerequisite to the engineering aspect of it. But then I realized that why not have design have its independent identity.
I'm Gaurav Gupta. I work in the capacity of a CMO here at Squareboat and Grid Design Studio.
So I am Akriti Jain and I am also one of the design directors.
I'm Ashish Dodmani and I'm a visual communication designer at Grid Design Studio.
It's been an absolute pleasure working with them. I think the fact that somebody chose an institute like IIAD and wanted to establish themselves as a designer is itself a very, very big step for me, that this guy is convinced that design is for him or her.
So I have known Akriti almost, I think, now for 5 years. And the best thing about Akriti's work is that she's a perfectionist. Yeah, she looks at delivering everything meticulously. And till the time, she does not have that dot sorted, she will actually not float the work. Yeah, this is the beauty of what she actually aspires and achieves every given time. I mean, there's no doubt about that. Ashish Dodamani has been relatively new in my professional journey. I've been working with him since 6 months. A lot of work for branding, a lot of work for Grid Design Studio, the Designathon, everything was rooted through Ashish. His, work to achieve that finesse every time, and he aspires to achieve that finesse. So I think that's great. He's very young, he's learning, and he's up the learning curve, and I think he should reach the space where he can, independently be there as a designer absolutely well.
I've been with Squareboat for almost 2.5 years, starting from an intern to a full-time lately. When I started out and I did my graduation project for Hacker.io along with Squareboat, being an intern, that was my graduation project for IIAD. So that's how I, kind of stepped into Squareboat. And then starting from being an intern, I was completely being mentored by Gaurav Gupta, who's the founder of Squareboat. I think sooner or later, almost 6 months or a year after I became a full-time employee over here, when I took a break. So I joined IBM, I was deployed at Mercedes-Benz, and I spent a good 1 year over there. Really different experience from what I was experiencing at Squareboat. Something that, I was being able to get in that MNC culture, and that's where I decided that I have a good opportunity to serve as a leader while I joined Squareboat. So yeah, that's how I came back.
I got into Squareboat as an intern, as a part of my MTP project. I got the chance of working on Grid Design Studio's branding, and that was an amazing opportunity, and it was a very big push and into learning branding and getting deep into branding.
We look for passion, we don't look for experience, we look for passion, and we really look for understanding. So the thing is that, my hiring attitude has always been that you can always groom for skills, but you will hire only for attitude. And somebody who really is passionate about design is somebody whom I can grow, right? He may not necessarily know too much in depth about design when he is in the beginning stages of a career, but eventually, after spending enough time with us and my team and remaining our clients, he or she will understand how the design process works and eventually will get groomed into a good designer.
Being a UI person, there's this one thing about me specifically that, I'm sort of well known for, which is my eye for detail. And I need everything pixel perfect and very picturesque and very presentable. Until the time it's not presentable, UI wise, look and feel wise, then I do not let it deliver.
The whole journey of branding Grid Design Studio I think it went very smoothly by going very micro and macro, and we got very meaningful insights, and that was all possible just because of following a good design process that led us to the final outcome.
When I joined IIAD back in 2015, I had this thing in mind that I wanted to become a graphic designer. That's how I started and that's how I joined. But then I think in third year of my college, there was this one session that we did for UI UX, and that one session completely changed my perspective from graphic design to UI UX design. And that one day I just decided that I want to become a UI UX designer and not a graphic designer.
UI UX are very underrated. They are always the face to a product. And people do not realize while scrolling on their mobile apps or, viewing a website, all they see is, the colors, but nobody realizes the kind of effort that goes into it. From, the space of creating wireframes or understanding the user side of it, understanding the psyche, the color palette, everything. I mean, designers perhaps, brainstorm a lot to see that what should be the face to the product.
So my name is Saransh Agarwal and I am leading the Grid Design Studio here. I'm the design director, and my daily work includes mentoring the design team, solving a lot of design challenges. The UI UX is fairly new to different domains when it comes to engineering, when it comes to being a doctor, when it comes to being a lawyer. But now that I have seen that the curve is going exponentially fast, when it comes to the demand of UI UX in the market and the future of it, because the consumer that is using the product is actually becoming aware, right? Because when you use an application, you expect something from it. So your expectations are growing, and that's where UI UX come into picture, and that expectations are being met by, designers worldwide, right? You see any application, there are UI updates like in every week.
The college teaches you a lot of things which are very purist and idealistic in nature, which is great. I think that's a good foundation to have. But real life sometimes is a little different from what your college is teaching you. So what happens is that the students sometimes get into that trap of not really understanding whether the college approach was correct or is the industry approach correct. There are a lot of commonalities for sure, but it is not a one-to-one mapping. So anything that the college and the curriculum is teaching you will have to adapt to industry standards in order to make them more practical and more viable.
A designer always needs to think what the customer wants. It's as simple as that, yeah? Just delve yourself into the space of what you would have done if you were operating that technological solution. I think the product would come out much, much better as compared to if you put the problem statement and achieve it with the thought that I'm a designer, and if you achieve it with the thought that I'm a user, I think they would be separate solutions altogether.